My name is Alexander Mikaberidze, and I'm Associate Professor of History at Louisiana State University in Shreveport. My life revolves around Napoleon. Whether my wife likes it or not, I spend most of the time with Napoleon. I spent about 2 decades now working on Napoleonic history and in exploring various aspects of it. And of course, it's always exciting to come in direct contact, in direct touch with pieces of art that represent Napoleonic history. And especially 2 prominent pieces like this. One by Colombo, probably one of the most famous busts of Napoleon ever made, and the other one by one of the giants of the 19th century French art, Meissonier. And so one of the reasons I like these 2 pieces is that not just the quality of work, it goes without saying this is artists at the height of their careers, but more importantly because they represent Napoleonic history in just two art pieces. If we look at Colombo's piece, this is the piece that shows Napoleon seemingly at the height of his power. Right here you have strength, determination, the willpower for which Napoleon is so famous for, all manifested in his gaze. Right here he's looking towards the future, and if you look at the bottom of it, there is an eagle, and one of his wings shows right towards this brighter future, whatever that future might be. You see it's this stern gaze that Napoleon gives. It's one of the remarkable pieces that conveys sense of history, the sense of individual character that Napoleon had. And then you move towards right, and it's a piece that is quite different from it. Meissonier's piece is Napoleon on a horse, and it's a sad side of Napoleon returning back home to France after this unsuccessful campaign in the East. Here he is not this stern gaze, but rather more a poignant gaze where he's almost hiding his face. You still have his chapeau, his famous hat, but now even the physical appearance of Napoleon is quite different. And so you take these 2 pieces, which are quite conveniently next to each other, and you see both the height of Napoleonic Empire, which by 1812, which the Colombo's bust is supposed to represent, is the largest empire Europe has seen since the Roman times. It's the empire that stretches from the rugged hills of Spain to the frozen wastelands of Poland. And then we move to the right and we see Meissonier's piece. And it is already an empire crumbling. The reason I like them is because they represent what we historians call Napoleonic legend. There is this famous expression by the contemporary who says Napoleon was a giant of liberalism who was brought down by the conservative pygmies. After 1815, after he's overthrown, you have this Napoleonic legend that talks about Napoleon as the great liberal figure who has tried so many good things only to be stymied by these conservative forces. And these pieces, both by Colombo and by Meissonier, are direct reflection of this movement, Napoleonic legend movement of the 19th century that tries to glorify Napoleon in many respects. Meissonier was a great subscriber to Napoleonic legend, and if you had visited his studio, you would have seen Napoleonic pieces all scattered around. One of the things that he was known for is meticulous attention to details, and he would go out and buy pieces, whether weapons or armor or whatever he was painting. He wanted to see the real things. In Napoleon's case, he actually went about and bought some of the pieces Napoleon owned, including his chapeau, his hat. He loved that connection, that direct connection he had with Napoleon, and that art represents it. In many respects, it is a pronouncement on that vision of what history is and how it matters and how it's shaped by our own perceptions.